Yeah, I legitimately heard nothing about this movie until I was in SoFi Stadium for WrestleMania. We were getting ready for the Hell in a Cell match between Edge and Finn Balor, and then a trailer for this pops up. Everybody around me was booing, and I was thinking, guys, WrestleMania goes Hollywood. This is a sponsorship that makes sense. So yeah, this one's just for my buddy Tomas, who hated seeing this trailer, seeing the Russell Crowe cold open and everything. Yeah, I saw this movie. What of it? Like, I was going to see it regardless. It's a new release. Sorry guys, had to cool down for a moment. Thank God my intro was there. But yeah, here we are. The Pope's Exorcist. Legitimately knew nothing about this movie until like a couple weeks ago when I was at WrestleMania itself and I saw a little trailer for it. This was directed by Australian filmmaker Julius Avery, who brought you Overlord. This guy, very underrated zombie flick that came out just a few months before the COVID pandemic started. And this one, of course, stars the great Russell Crowe as the Pope's Exorcist himself, Gabriel Amorth. He was the chief exorcist for the Vatican starting around the mid-80s, and he battles Satan and innocent possessing demons. This movie is basically a detailed portrait of a priest who performed more than 100,000 exorcisms in his lifetime. Yes, this is based off of a true story. And this movie does give you a nice glimpse and a nice profile of a very captivating individual. And I think the biggest praise I can give this movie is, believe it or not, Russell Crowe's performance. Believe it or not, the guy's one of my favorite actors when you don't put him in Les Miserables. I love the calm, brooding nature that he brings to these proceedings. Loving his accent as well. Which, yeah, I get it. Some people might feel very distracted that Russell Crowe is putting on a very thick accent here. But I think he's marvelous in this movie. And he really captures every little quirk about this guy to a T. Because this is not your normal religious figure, believe it or not. This guy rode around on a moped. He was drinking on the job. He was getting into heated arguments with the other clergymen. This is also a guy who performed tens of thousands of exorcisms throughout his career. Which brings me to my next point. This is kind of an exorcist movie. It's a spiritual exorcist movie. And you've pretty much seen it all before. If you've seen the original masterpiece from 1973, which don't get this next point twisted, by the way. This is not a remake. This is not a sequel of The Exorcist. That's not coming until October. But if you've seen any Exorcist movie throughout your life, you pretty much know what you're getting with this one. And in terms of the fear factor, this movie really does not do anything out of the ordinary. And I really respected the character study that we were sinking into with Russell Crowe himself. But the stuff that's supposed to make you feel frightened, the demons that these people had to confront about their past, the family that we're introduced to. This is a very basic movie, very par for the course when you think about this screenplay. And even though this may be a shorter review for my standards, but there's really not a whole lot to discuss about this movie. Russell Crowe comes in, he's a weird priest. Then he comes in and performs an exorcism on a possessed little boy who, I should note, with the stuff that he is made to do in this movie, the stuff that the script makes him say, this young actor does a really, really good job with this stuff. And I appreciate Julius Avery as a director. Like I said, I really dig Overlord. I think it's supremely underrated. A lot of fun as a zombie movie and extremely gory and very brutal. When the Pope's Exorcist has to get into the action department and all that, the big finale, all the fireworks coming up, yeah, it does very much feel like the ending of the 1973 masterpiece, but like, it's an exorcist movie. It's a movie about an exorcist. What do you expect? I think a lot of the technicals of this movie with Avery's direction, Jed Kurzel's very haunting and intimidating score, all to coincide with Russell Crowe's larger-than-life performance. I think those three elements by themselves can put The Pope's Exorcist over the top for a lot of people. But with the story being as basic as it is and our supporting cast not being nearly as interesting as our main actor here, I'd say The Pope's Exorcist is passable. For a movie that I had no clue what it was until about 2 weeks before its release, I was expecting this to be hot garbage. So the fact that I walked out of this theater thinking it was going to be hot garbage, and then I walk out and I'm like, that was okay. There's nothing earth-shattering about it. It's very basic for a horror movie. Certainly not going to be in the upper echelon of scary movies this year as far as I'm concerned. especially with all the other releases that come around it this spring. I don't think it does nearly enough to stand out on its own as a classic. I'm gonna give The Pope's Exorcist a C. Maybe worth one watch on VOD if it ever comes out on Netflix or Hulu or something like that. I don't think it's something I ever need to watch again though. Let me know what you thought of The Pope's Exorcist down in the comments section below. What is your favorite Russell Crowe performance of all time? That's a big discussion. As always, guys, it's a lot of fun making these videos and starting the discussion about all things movies and entertainment. Getting to interact with you lovely viewers makes things all the better for me. Do me a favor, smash the subscribe button if you're new. Please tap that thumbs up as well. Really helps with the algorithm and helps continue to grow this awesome community of film lovers and entertainment lovers everywhere. Guys, y'all are the best. Stay tuned for more videos very soon. And with all that being said, back talk commence.